Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Sunday, the 9th of May 2021. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to use my deck of cards again, the Gregory Tarot. Let's see what these cards have to say about Sunday and what energy is coming up for you. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards a few times and see what the tarot wants to share. So let's have a look. Okay, so the first card we've got, the Five of Pentacles, the Hermit, and the Knight of Cups. Okay, interesting. So the message I get straight away, just as a narrative, the relationships may not be exactly the way you want them to be. You may feel rejected. You're on the outside looking in, and that may cause you to take extreme action and to react in a way that's a little bit over the top. So the first thing to remember is that you're in control of your own feelings, your own thoughts, and you don't have to let other people's actions turn into some sort of narrative that's completely over the top and that has very little to do with reality, and that takes you to behave in an extreme way. So I think, again, the first thing to remember is to take care of yourself, to be calm, to remember that you've got a right to be happy and to do things that really bring you joy and that allow you to connect with the current moment. So the Five of Pentacles is usually, in the regular tarot, it's a card that shows two people out in the snow and a stained glass window that has the Five Pentacles there, and it's rejection via institutions. Here we've got a young girl. She's watching through this barbed wire fence at these boys playing football, and she's not allowed to play, either because she's a girl or because she's not good at football. Someone, or the group, the majority, has decided that the individual is not welcome, and that is rejection. So these Five Pentacles, the opportunity to be part of something, has been blocked. The barbed wire kind of seems dangerous, and if she tries to force her way in, she's going to injure herself. So the stakes seem quite high. And the point of the card is that it may feel like it's you against the world, that people don't understand, or that you want to do something, but other people have decided against you. And it's not a positive feeling. It's not a card that says, hooray, everyone is on your side and life is easy. The reality is, though, this is a game. It's not that serious. She's able to turn around and to find other people to play with. She has lots of options here. She can also move on and say, I'm going to play football with people who are actually willing to have me on their team. So it's interesting because the one thing that she can't do is let go and to accept the fact that these five boys have rejected her. And the fact is that that's just their opinion. It really doesn't matter. There are lots of other people on the planet who will welcome her with open arms, and she's just kind of hurting herself by hanging on. So the Five of Pentacles isn't so much about rejection, it's about staying in that space of pain and feeling like that is your only option. It really isn't. So the one thing to do is to let go first and foremost, to turn around and to say, I cannot change their minds. Circumstances sometimes are beyond my control, and whether I hang or not, it isn't going to change anything. And that can be really difficult, and it can be a hard thing to learn in life, that certain things are outside of our control, and we just have to roll with the punches at times. So if she does manage to let go, then things get really easy. She's, like I said, she's able to find other people to play with. She can sign up for tennis if no one's going to play football with her that day. She can start gardening or do anything else. There are a million other things that she can do, and the key is to let go and to accept, and things will get easier. The Hermit is someone who looks within for understanding. Here we've got St. Michael's Mount. I wanted this to show kind of institution that's sometimes accessible and inaccessible. So you've got this in France, and you've got another version, I can't remember what it's called. It is St. Michael's Mount, isn't it? There's one in Dorset or in Devon. It's the same thing. It's a little castle that's near the coast, just off the beach. Sometimes you can get to it if the tide's out. Sometimes you can't if the tide is in. I actually drove down there one day, and I was lucky. I didn't plan ahead, and I just arrived when the tide was out, and I was able to walk over. And there's this little path made out of kind of cobblestones, and you can walk along it, and it's really interesting. It kind of gets a little bit flooded, and you can walk barefoot, and it's a whole experience. It really kind of made an impression on me. So the Hermit, he's kind of taking the opportunity while the water's away to go to shore and to find himself, to discover what he's about. He's got his lantern, and this isn't about rejection, but it's interesting that in connection with the Five of Pentacles, it can be seen that way. He's looking back over his shoulder. Someone could have said, hey, you know, on your bike, get your little lantern and off you go. We're full. You need to find another monastery to be part of. So you can look at it that way. And if he were to be rejected, then the only real option that he has is to move on. And in his case, he's got this light shining at the center of his chest, kind of in the heart chakra position. And he already realizes that it doesn't matter what other people say to him. It's the love he has for himself that's really important. And he's got all the skills and the tools and the experience and the competence to do okay in the real world. He's dressed in beautiful clothing, so he knows how to take care of himself. And this card is kind of the antidote to this one. It says it doesn't matter if you get rejected or not. With this card, same thing. You've got a million other options. So whether it's 5 boys saying no thank you, and they don't understand you, and they don't really see what a skilled football player you are, or it's a monastery, and they say, we're full up, we don't want your beautiful you and your beautifully dressed wardrobe in this compound, you're going to have to move on. It's not your job to get other people to understand you. And the easiest way to deal with a situation like that is simply to accept it. So it's like they say in recovery, acceptance is the key to all your problems, because it's not just about reducing the pain you feel in that moment. It's really about giving yourself a million different options. He can go explore Dorset or Devon or wherever it is. He can move over to France if he feels like it. She can play other sports. She can go home and do her homework. It's really a million things open up for you when you accept the things that are going on that are beyond your control, rather than trying to force something to happen. Because if you force something, that can really hurt and that can be painful. Now, the Knight of Cups is a warning, because the Knight of Cups, when I designed this card, I wrote down all the gear and no idea. And I really like how it's turned out, because this is a normal guy. He's got a very conservative hairstyle, doesn't he? So I wanted this to be someone who works a very regular job. So either he works for the government, or he's an accountant, or he's a carpenter, or something very, very structured and conventional. And one day he's woken up and he said, do you know what? I want to have a spiritual experience. So rather than just to go in nature and to meditate or to take a moment to think like the rest of us do, what he's decided to do is to cover himself in ruins, because they amplify the spiritual energy, to sit in a circle of standing stones, because again, they amplify the energy. So he's really trying his best to make something happen. He doesn't feel great about this, but he's putting on this happy spiritual face. That means he's having some sort of experience. He's cracking me up. I love this card. And he's doing all of this in an extreme way to get what he wants. So it's kind of overkill. He's really trying a little bit too hard. So the warning here is, if that you do feel there's a sense of rejection or people don't understand you, that you really go overboard and you start to tell yourself a story which is way over the top, and you create a drama in your own mind that doesn't really exist. The best way to navigate this day is to accept the things that are going on, to love yourself, and not to make things worse by telling yourself stories which frighten you or which blow things out of proportion and that up the ante and make everything seem very, very dramatic. It's keeping it simple, being grateful for what you've got, and really contemplating your own wonderful options. And that's really the blessing of the day, that you don't have to make anything happen. You don't have to force anything. And you're a free person who can choose for yourself. And with that said, if you're able to resist this urge to tell yourself frightening stories, which kind of build up your ego, but make you feel awful and afraid, then you really have the opportunity to learn something about yourself, and you're really able to uncover the fact that you do love yourself and that you can do it on your own. And you can also go about your own business with this sense of acceptance and self-love, and you can find other people who are like-minded, who will accept you, who do want you on their team. So it's easy does it, and being kind to yourself. Number-wise, we've got a chord card. That's 1 and 9 is 10, and 5 is 15. 1 and 5 is 6, and 6 is a temporary opportunity. So the opportunity to fall in love with yourself. Have a wonderful Sunday. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to audio reading with me. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe and share the video online. Have a fabulous day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.